Hello my scrappy friends, how are you going? Firstly, I'm going to say if you hear anything in the background, it is the middle of the school holidays. My children are in the very next room watching TV, but they're boys and they're noisy, so if that's what you hear, then that's what you hear. I am here today sharing my take on the May Scrap the Boys challenge, which is this fun mood board. I really love all these blues and greens. Really love. If you follow me, you know that I do tend to lean towards blues and greens. I don't mean to, but it just happens. My boys helped me pick out a photo, and I've got this one on my big boy. It is from 2016. As you can see, he's dressed as a hungry little caterpillar, but he also got himself a merit award for that week. These things are few and far between for my boy. Yes. And so every single one is celebrated, and we are more than happy with this is not academically related. So for this one, it was the great performance during the assembly item. All your hard work and patience showed on the day. Well done. So yeah, for him, he has a few concentration issues. So to get a certificate like that means a great deal to all of us. So yeah, bless his little cotton socks. He was so proud of himself that he was the hungry caterpillar and that he got a certificate. So I've pulled out some bits and pieces here. As you can see, I've got all these bits and pieces in here. I've gone for, I really like the idea of the lime green. I know that it's not really on the board, but I kind of went green, lime green. There's a tiny bit in here. There you go, there's my lime green. And I've pulled out, so these are from Studio 1440. They are the Halloween ones, but I think I can make them work. Pulled out a bunch of other bits from Flutterby Designs, from Delish Scraps. Like I said, I pulled mostly on the greens, the aquas, the blues, and that kind of stuff. So I don't really know what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to start with white cardstock. Oh, I also pulled out these fun chipboard. They're stars. Love them. So I'm going to pop you on fast forward. I hope you enjoy. So take two. I just thought I'd recorded my whole voiceover, but for whatever reason it did not work. So starting again. Starting with some Cobalt archival ink and my current favourite text stamp by Vicky Bruton, and randomly stamping straight down the page on the right hand side about a third of the way in. And then I'm going to use, I think it's called Aquamarine or something, and this Distressed Spotty stencil. I think it's darker in Door, maybe. I'm not sure. And just using archival ink for that as well. Pull out a stencil, and I picked one of these mini layering stencils by Tim Holtz with the alphabet. But before I do that, I decided I wasn't sure what medium I was going to use on top of my stenciling. So I have grabbed my clear gesso, and I'm just applying a quick coat of that over the main area where I'm pretty sure my photo is going to go. Now I've pulled out my apple of my eye colour paste. So the first tub I've had too long and haven't used it quick enough, and it's gotten hard. Air's obviously got in there, so quick tip, make sure you keep that foil on and do up your lids nice and tight and use it. So I just trim my photo down, and I'm just going to add in this colour paste. This is the Apple of My Eye by Colour Blast. I love this colour. Love it. It's so fun. And you can see I'm just randomly applying those letters through that stencil. I am going to let this dry naturally. The main reason for that is I didn't really want it to go all bubbly and bumpy the way that it often can do when you heat set it. So I just left it to dry naturally and continued working on my page. So I'm going to put a couple of layers behind my photo, and I'm starting with these cards by Flutterby Designs. I think they're from the Mad About You collection, and I go with that teal colour. Just trim it down. I really thought I was going to use more from this collection than I did. However, I really like the way this layout came together in the end. I'm distressing the edges there. trying to decide what else I'm going to put behind there, and I found this piece of vellum. This has been sitting in my stash for quite a while. It has got a mixture of apple of my eye, deep water, envy, and just blue colour paste randomly just smeared onto the vellum. It's quite a fun technique. You get really cool texture when you do that. So if you haven't put any sort of paste onto vellum, I highly recommend giving it a go. I really like doing that and then cutting random shapes. You can punch them, you can hand cut them, but yeah, it's super fun. Just working out my layers behind my photo, and I'm going to use my tiny attacher to stick those together, and some cardboard for lift. Going to work on a couple of little embellishments here. So those little cut apart tabs are from, again, Flutterby Designs. Those brighter blue ones that I pull in, I don't end up using. They're not quite the right colour. The three that I end up using on the layout say Note, Rock On, and High Five. Pretty sure I do not make you watch me fussy cut them. It's not much fun watching someone fussy cut. It's not much fun fussy cutting at the best of times. Let me know, do you agree? Do you not agree? What do you think? So I'm going to layer those like that on the right hand side. I just gave that paste a quick blast with the heat tool just to make sure it was dried properly. And of course my distress oxides. I'm going to see if I can find my bit of paper that has the colours on it. So I am doing the infamous packaging technique. Super quick, super easy, super effective. And yeah, so smush the ink pad onto some packaging, flip it over and smush it onto your page. That's why it's called the smushing technique, because you do lots of smushing. Where are we? Just looking still. So you can see I'm just literally adding colour, and I dry in between each layer. That's not it. That's not it. There it is. Okay. So the colours that I have used are Faded Jeans, Peacock Feathers, Mermaid Lagoon, Twisted Citron, and Cracked Pistachio and Lucky Clover. The ink colour that I used, the tealy colour, aqua colour, is I didn't write it down. Yes, I did. Is Garden Patina. That Lucky Clover is a really pretty colour. I was really surprised. Now, here's another question for you. Leave me a comment. I find every time I use the Twisted Citron in this way and wet it, it goes really yellow. Like really yellow. And sometimes it works. In this case, it didn't. I've gone over the top with my Cracked Pistachio. And yeah, tell me, what does yours look like? Does it come out yellow like that? What I'm showing you here is those colours stuck to the colour paste as they dried. If you want the colour paste to shine through, grab a damp baby wipe and rub over the top once your paste and watery coloury background is dry, and you can clean the ink off the top and you get your actual colour. It's really cool. If you haven't tried it, give it a go. Decided to add some splatters. Cracked Pistachio. I'm pretty sure I go in with all the colours. You would have seen a second ago I activated my apple of my eye colour shimmer pot as well. Now, I was making sure that I dried in between each colour before, and then I went and stupidly applied Faded Jeans splatters without letting the other colour dry. And it went really, really blue, and I didn't want it really, really blue. So my whole page is now really, really blue. And I decided, well, I don't want it to be really blue. I'm going to go in and add more green. So I did that with the Lucky Clover. You can see my splatters there, those really shiny ones. The apple of my eye. So pretty. Love that colour. Now I am just going to assemble all of my bits and pieces. I've got a charm from Charms Creation. I have got some chipboard from Dusty Attic Chipboard. I struggle with chipboard. I don't really know why. But yes. But I really like what I've done with this chipboard on this page. So you'll see me muck around with it for a little while. Maybe I should have cut some of it out. But you do get to see me muck around with it for a little while. Place it here, place it there, add some, take some, change it around a bit. So those two bits go exactly there, and then I'm like, okay, I've got another piece. I'm going to use part of that. Part of it broke off. I'm like, oh, great. I do try to jigsaw it back together, but it wasn't going back together like a jigsaw should. So I gave up and thought, you know what, I'm just going to use it as two pieces. Yep. There, just like that. Really happy with that. I'm going to move my layout out of the way. I'm going to apply, I think I ended up applying 3 coats of white gesso to my chipboard. I'm using a cheapy makeup sponge. That has all dried. Now I'm going to go in with my embossing powder. I've got 2 colours there, Just Blue and Apple of My Eye. I am using my embossing ink dabber and applying ink, applying the embossing powder, and I will go back in and heat set that in a second. And I do not make you watch all of that because it is not exciting. I do make you watch, I think, the first one that I heat set, because that kind of is exciting. If you haven't tried this technique before, I highly recommend it. It looks really cool. So you can see I'm heat setting it, and then I'm sprinkling a tiny bit of the apple of my eye straight on top of that hot embossing powder. Be careful these pieces get hot, and if you're using scissors to hold things in place or anything metal, they get hot too. So be careful, don't burn yourself. So yeah, I've just sprinkled a little bit of that apple of my eye straight over the Just Blue, and look at that. Love it. Love, love, love it. Some navy thread. I'm going to add that in a couple of places, but first I'm going to stick down all of my little tabs, and then I'm going to come in with my tiny attacher as well. Thread. They weren't saying where I wanted them, that's why I bought the tiny attacher, to be honest. And then I was like, maybe I should add it to all my tabs. So that's exactly what I do. Now to remember the way I have my chipboard set out. There we go. I have been holding on to that Chance Creations star for just the right layout. I've tried it on so many different layouts, and this was the one. So yay! I'm so excited I've got it on the page. Some more navy thread. And gluing all my bits down. I'm putting that one under the thread just for something different. And my star to the top. Going to add some chipboard. So first I'm going to apply some glue straight to those little thread clusters. Add some chipboard to the back of my photo. So that's 2 layers now of, did I call that chipboard? Cardboard. Sorry, it's late. It's actually not that late, but I'm tired. Sorry, if I'm talking nonsense, I do apologise. So working on my title, now I did cut most of this out. I tried a couple of different things and it just wasn't happening for me. So you see I've jumped forward. This little word that I've put out is caterpillar. These alphas are from October Afternoon. And I've just stuck those to a piece of copy paper to make it easy to place them. Otherwise I would have had to have put glue behind each little letter and tried to get that to stick to that chipboard star, which would have been a pain. So you can see I'm outlining those letters for star with this marker. And I'm going to add my journaling in. I'm pretty sure I skipped forward again. And that's it. that is my page complete. So make sure you head over to the Scrap the Boys blog to see all of the other amazing designs from the other girls on the design team. If you get messy, please let me know. I'd love to see what you create inspired by this. Thank you ever so much for stopping by. I really do appreciate it. I'm up to 850 subscribers, so yay, thank you everyone. I will be back again soon with another layout. Until then, happy scrapping. Bye.